Hello everyone, Kiko here. This is going to be a video about Godforge. However, before we get on to Godforge, I would like to address my current subscribers and tell them that Master Duel content will continue. I have just been taking a break from Master Duel. I am also going to be covering Godforge before it releases and after it releases. It is a game I am very interested in, and is being made by some very talented people that I would absolutely love to see where they take the game and where they go. Anyway, let's get on to the video about Godforge. Alright. I am most interested in the Izumo faction, which revolves around Japanese mythology, and it appears Japanese historical figures like Oda Nobunaga. But first off, I would like to thank Ragewood Gaming and Raven Pyros Gaming for the websites they have put together for the game, which are very good. And they contain a lot of art and information about the factions and the characters. I'm going to start off by looking at Izanagi and Izanami, as they are pretty much the progenitor gods in mythology. So let's go on to Izanagi over here. Formerly referred to with a divine honorific as Izanagi no Mikoto, meaning he who invites, or the male who invites, is the creator deity of both creation and life in Japanese mythology. He and his sister wife Izanami are the last of the 7 generations of primordial deities that manifested after the formation of heaven and earth. Izanagi and Izanami are held to be the creators of the Japanese archipelago and the progenitors of many deities, which include the sun goddess Amaterasu, the moon deity Tsukuyomi, and the storm god Susanoo. He is a god that can be said to be the beginning of the current Japanese imperial family. That's just who Izanagi is. Here's a little bit of art that's someone painted a long time ago about them. But if we come over here to Raven Pyros' gaming, he has a few images of Izanagi that we currently have. As you can see, here's a close-up of the face. There's a lot of detail in the characters. So one thing that Godforge and Fateless are doing really well is the detail they're putting into the characters. You can see his face. There's a lot of detail in the face. The thing in the back that's floating, I'm not entirely sure what that's called. Anyway, that has a lot of detail in it. You can get real close to it and see the little details. It also helps in making him look like the deity that he is. You can see his necklace, or his pair of necklaces actually. Then the gold streak across his chest. You have his sword staff, spear, whatever you want to call it. And how it has the same kind of thing that is behind his head. It's also glowing, as you would hope from a deity. Got the prayer beads on his side. If you go down to his feet, there's even the small details like the blue rims around his feet. Very nice detail by the development team. Yes, overall he looks very good. We currently do not have any images of Izanami, however. We have not seen her, but I imagine she will look just as good as Izanagi does, because he looks amazing, as do all the characters. It's a little bit of prototype art of him, I think. And what Ragewood has said about him. Fresh out of the underworld and so done with it, Izanagi has entered Godforge, creator of gods, father of Japan, and certified bad decision maker. He's here to shape the battlefield, hopefully with fewer regrets this time, armed with divine wisdom, a legendary sword, and some serious baggage. He's ready to carve his name into history, just don't mention his ex. It's a sore subject. That would be Izanami. So we come over to Izanami, as I said. You don't have any images of her from Godforge, so we don't currently know what she's going to look like. There is this little bit which is unfinished. And she's so far is looking pretty good, just unfinished, as I said. Also straight out of the underworld and not in the mood, Izanami has arrived in Godforge, once the creator of life, now the queen of the dead. Long story, don't ask. She's here to remind everyone why breakups with death gods get messy, with a terrifying presence and a grudge that spans eternity. She's not looking for redemption, just revenge. So Izanagi, feeling nervous yet? And if we go over to the mythology of Izanami, Izanami, formerly referred to with the honorific Izanami no Mikoto, meaning she who invites, or the female who invites, obviously the opposite of Izanagi, is the creator deity of both creation and death in Japanese mythology, as well as the Shinto mother goddess. She and her brother husband Izanagi are the last of 7 generations of primordial deities that manifested after the formation of heaven and earth. Izanami and Izanagi are held to be the creators of the Japanese archipelago and the progenitors of many deities, which obviously, as it said with Izanagi, the sun goddess Amaterasu, the moon deity Tsukuyomi, and the storm god Susanoo. In mythology, she is the direct ancestor of the Japanese imperial family. In Shinto and Japanese mythology, Izanami gave humans death, so Izanami is sometimes seen as a Shinigami. Shinigami are also in Godforge. We'll look into them a little bit later in the video. But, yeah, there's a little bit of it. They're death gods. There's not much to say about Izanami as we don't have art of her, so we'll just go on to the next one. The next one I would like to look at is Amaterasu. Amaterasu Omikami, often called Amaterasu for short, also known as Amateru-kami, and Ohirume no Muchi, is the goddess of the sun in Japanese mythology, often considered the chief deity, or kami, of the Shinto pantheon. She is also portrayed in Japan's earliest literary texts, the Kojiki and the Nihon Shoki, as the ruler or one of the rulers of the heavenly realm Takamahakahara. I butchered that, I'm sure. That is one I cannot pronounce. And as the mythical ancestress of the Imperial House of Japan via her grandson Nihigi, along with 2 of her siblings, the moon deity Tsukuyomi and the impetuous storm god Susanoo. She ranks as one of the 3 precious children, the 3 most important offspring of the creator god Izanagi. If we go into Godforge, we just have this here, which, if I can bring it up, is a little bit of concept art of her. We can see in her concept art that she looks very heavenly and like a sun god would. She's got the yellow that a sun would have. Her entire outfit is decorated with yellow to represent her being a sun god. She's got, even in the concept art, she's got a lot of detail, which also they point back to in the mythology of the art of the god that she is obviously named after, Amaterasu. So they obviously have taken a lot of inspiration and done a lot of work to figure out what to do with the design of each of these heroes. You can even see on the back she has some, what's that, kitsune? Is that a fox? Which is modeled after that. Even the back of her hair is dark at the top and then goes down into a sun-like shine. Overall, a very good design. They've even got... Oh yeah, on the back here, they point out there's the two wolves. Or are those also kitsune? They might be yokai, just in general. Overall, it's a very good design, even just as a concept. They've done a lot of good work on her. As it says here by Ragewood, Amaterasu has arrived in Godforge, goddess of the sun, ruler of the heavens, and the reason sunglasses exist. She's here to outshine the competition with a glare that can burn through mountains and a family drama that makes mythology extra spicy. She brings both warm and searing destruction. Both warmth and searing destruction. Will she bless you with light or roast you like a forgotten festival mochi? Depends on her mood. The next one I'm going to look over is Susanoo. Often referred to by the honorific title Susanoo no Mikoto, is a kami in Japanese mythology, the younger brother of Amaterasu, goddess of the sun and mythical ancestress of the Japanese imperial line. He is a multifaceted deity with contradictory characteristics, both good and bad, being portrayed in various stories, either as a wild, impetuous god associated with the sea and storms, as a heroic figure who killed a monstrous serpent, or as a local deity linked with the harvest and agriculture. Syncretic beliefs of the Gion cult that arose after the introduction of Buddhism in Japan, after the introduction of Buddhism to Japan, also saw Susanoo becoming conflated with deities and pestilence and disease. And here's the concept art we have of Susanoo for Godforge. As you can see, they have put a lot of work into him for being the god of storms. You can see the lightning off of his armor. Then the other side with is that a dragon and smoke? Obviously, being god of storms, he would be shown with blue. There's a lot of blue in his design, which is very nice. Even his socks are blue down there. Got the little snakes along his armor. Got his tattoos, which they point out over here. His gauntlets. Oh, there's a little ball inside of the dragon's mouth. That is a neat addition. And you have his gauntlets, or his shoulder piece and arm piece, with and without his arm. You have the armor pattern, his chest tattoo, the side lower armor. Then you have on the back, they continue the tattoo as they should. Overall, a very good design. You have the storm clouds on his armor. Very good work on this character from Fateless. I really like his design. And what Ragewood has to say about him: the storm god himself, Susanoo, has entered Godforge, armed with a sword that can cut through anything, except apparently his own temper. Susanoo is here to shake things up, literally. Known for his epic tantrums, occasional monster slaying, and extremely questionable decision-making, like throwing a tantrum that created an entire storm. He's ready to prove he's the most unpredictable force in the game. Just pray he doesn't throw a fit or a thunderbolt, for that matter. The next one I want to go over is Raijin, aka Thunder God, also known as Kaminari-sama, Raiden-sama, Narukami, Raiko. I cannot pronounce that. is a god of lightning, thunder, and storms in Japanese mythology and the Shinto and Buddhist religion. He is typically depicted with fierce and aggressive facial expressions, standing atop a cloud, beating on a den daiko drums, with tomoe symbols drawn on them. Iconography of Raijin are often found in Japanese temples and shrines. He is usually depicted alongside his twin brother Fujin, the god of wind, or with his son Raitaro, a fellow thunder god like himself, or with his animal companion, a Raiju, another fellow Shinto god of storms, is their brother, Susanoo. There's a statue of Raijin. It's a very cool looking character. This is the concept art we have of Raijin. He very much looks like a demon, in my opinion. But that is on par with Raijin, as he's usually depicted as looking very vicious and mean. It appears we have dual weapons for him, which are two short staves, maybe? Very cool with the effects around the tip of the staves, and then you have the swirling effect around it. As for Raijin himself, you've got 5 things behind him, which is surrounded by storm clouds. It's got, looks like demon troll teeth on his mouth, maybe? It's overall a very good design for him, and it does fit, as Raijin is typically depicted to look similar to this. There's not too much going with his armor. You have the swirling symbols on his chest there, and then his shoulders that swirl around his shoulders and arms, down to his gauntlets. You have the Oni piece on his belt, at least I believe that looks like an Oni, maybe an Oni mask. Not too much going on with the character design, but it still does look amazing. You can see the back of his skirt. There's designs along it and some lightning with the clouds. And then here's the back piece that we saw around the back of him in this image over here, just without the effects. It's a ring of taiko drums floating behind him, apparently. That is... Oh! The tomoe pattern on the back in front of the drums. That is good. I like that a lot. Now that I actually know what it is, I like it a lot. Those are the drums that he likes to use. So perhaps in game he will maybe refer to those when he's using his skills and abilities. We currently don't know what his abilities are or his skills in game. And I don't think we even have any visuals of him in game. It's just concept art currently. So, Ragewood has a say about him. When the storm clouds gather and the sky rumbles, you know Raijin has just logged in. Japan's legendary god of thunder and lightning isn't here to make friends. He's here to drop beats of destruction like a celestial DJ with a grudge. Armed with his electrified taiko drums and a temper hotter than a CPU overheating, Raijin enters Godforge as a walking natural disaster. Expect screen-shaking AoE attacks, unpredictable lightning bolts that probably weren't aimed at you, and a taunting laugh every time he wipes the battlefield clean. Oh, and don't even think about pulling the plug. Raijin is the Wi-Fi. So that gives you a little input on how terrifying he can be and his temper as well. The last one we have to look at in the legendary sections of the characters is Oda Nobunaga. Oda Nobunaga was a Japanese daimyo and one of the leading figures of the Sengoku and Azuchi Momoyama periods. He was the Tenka Bito, person under heaven, and regarded as the first great unifier of Japan. He is sometimes referred to as the Demon Daimyo and the Demon King of the Sixth Heaven. The only thing we have to look at for Oda Nobunaga is when we saw him in Simon's video, showcasing a few characters and other things in Godforge. But we can see he does have, is that, I don't think that's a Tanto on the front. I can't remember what that's called. But he's got the face mask of a, very frightening actually, with demon horns coming out the front. You've got the shoulder plates and the shoulder artwork, which is, I can't rightly tell what that is. It looks like it might be a yokai of some kind. Could also just be maybe flames. I'm not entirely sure. But he's got the general look of a samurai because, well, as it says at the top here, Warlord Daimyo, Oda Nobunaga. So he generally does look like a samurai, which he still looks really cool. And I believe they do have a samurai character in the game. And while they look similar, they also look vastly different. Ragewood has to say about him, Oda Nobunaga has arrived in Godforge, and he's here to do what he does best, conquer everything. The Demon King of the Sixth Heaven didn't unite Japan just to play fair, and he's certainly not about to start now. Armed with brilliant tactics, an ego bigger than his army, and a healthy disregard for tradition, he's ready to steamroll the competition. Will he crush his enemies with ruthless efficiency? Absolutely. Will he also insult their entire bloodline while doing it? You bet. The next one we have to look at is an epic character. Usugi Kenshin Nagao Kagetora, later known as Usagi Kenshin, was a Japanese daimyo. He was born in Nagao clan, and after adoption into Usagi clan, ruled Ichigo province in the Sengoku period of Japan. He was one of the most powerful daimyo of the Sengoku period, known as the Dragon of Ichigo. While chiefly remembered for his prowess on the battlefield, as a military genius and war hero, Kenshin is also regarded as an extremely skillful administrator who fostered the growth of local industries and trade, as his rule saw a marked rise in the standard of living of Ichigo. And here's what we have to look at for Kenshin. He looks a lot similar to Oda does, but they're both samurai. They will both look very similar. He does not have the mask that Oda has. We actually see his face. He's got a cloth over his helmet too, which is a nice touch. His armor's got the same general design, so it's probably just a general samurai armor design. Overall, a very good looking character regardless. Ragewood has to say about him. Usugi Kenshin has entered Godforge, and the battlefield has just got a lot classier. Known as the Dragon of Ichigo, he's here to prove that war isn't just about winning, it's about style. With a blade as sharp as his battlefield strategies and a monk-like dedication to honor and possibly sake, Kenshin is ready to slice through the competition like their poorly trained samurai. Think you stand a chance? Think again. And he's already predicted your next 3 moves. Again, he is an epic in the game. So he's not like any of these up here. They're legendaries. They're super strong. He's pretty strong, but he's not a legendary. On to Musashi. The only thing I could really find is Miyamoto Musashi, who was a Japanese swordsman, strategist, artist, and writer, who became renowned through stories of his unique double-bladed swordsmanship, an undefeated record in his 62 duels. Miyamoto is considered a Kinsei, sword saint of Japan. He was the founder of the Nichiren Ichiryu, or Nito Ichiryu, style of swordsmanship, and in his final years authored a Book of 5 Rings, Go Ring no Sho, and Dokoro, The Path of Aloneness. In Godforge, all we have is this screenshot from in-game of Musashi, victorious duelist. And it appears he does have 2 blades in the game, which would go into, which would relate back to the character I was just covering. Or, not character, but historical figure I was just covering. Got that general laid back kind of samurai vibe, where he's not a complete soldier. He's more of, oh, what's it called? He's more laid back. He's not in war actively. He's more of a samurai that hangs back with the castle and tends to the castle than anything. Overall, it's a really good design. He's got his robes on. I like it. What Ragewood has to say: prepare yourselves. Musashi has entered Godforge, and he's bringing a lot of swords, and probably a lecture on how to properly swing them. Known for mastering the art of combat with 2 blades, because why use one when you can use 2? He's here to teach the gods how it's done. Will he fight, or just end the next hour philosophizing about life and death? Who knows? Either way, don't blink, because if you do, you'll miss his next unpredictable move, and the lecture on how you're doing it all wrong. On to the rare characters, we have Oni, which an Oni is a kind of yokai. It's a demon, orc, ogre, or troll in Japanese folklore. They are believed to live in caves or deep in the mountains, or just straight up being in hell. Oni are known for their superhuman strength and have been associated with powers like thunder and lightning, along with their evil nature manifesting in their propensity for murder and cannibalism. They are typically portrayed as hulking figures with 1 or more horns growing out of their heads, massive teeth, and occasionally a 3rd eye in the center of their forehead. They are typically depicted with red, blue, black, or yellow-colored skin, wearing loincloths of tiger pelt and carrying iron kanabo clubs. They are also known to have 6 digits on each hand and foot tipped with claw-like nails. Oni are able to change their looks to fool their victims into trusting them. Oni can be male or female, but have been predominantly male throughout history. Female Oni are sometimes referred by the name Yana-uba when in disguise. Oni are capable of appearing as a man or woman regardless of their gender. As monstrous as Oni are, they have been linked to bringing good fortune and wealth. And in Godforge, we have the concept art of the Oni. We have their weapon, the kanabo, which is just a big club. Have different references to the different Oni. There's the red skin, the blue skinned. And Godforge seems to have taken a liking to having it a dark blue type of skin. Overall, I do like this design. You have those gold swirls. That is similar to, what was it, Susanoo? No, it wasn't Susanoo. They're similar to Raijin. Yeah, Raijin's got the same things on him. So, that's interesting. They have done that on the Oni, which symbolizes their somewhat being linked together, as Raijin is just a big god Oni, basically. So yeah, you've got the claws on the hands and feet. The same material as the horns, it looks like, which is cool. You've got the horns at the top. Got a long white hair out the back, which is another amazing thing. You have the different types of pelt surrounding them. You know, the tiger pelt. And then you have it around his legs as well. Overall, very good design, and I really enjoy it. On to the Onryu. I think I pronounced that wrong. Onryu? Something around there. In Japanese traditional beliefs and literature, Onryu, vengeful spirit, sometimes rendered wrathful spirits, hatred spirits, resentful spirits, ruthless spirits, envious spirits, dark spirits, fallen spirits, or downcast spirits, are a type of ghost, yurei, believed to be capable of causing harm in the world of the living, injuring or killing enemies, or even causing natural disasters to exact vengeance, to redress the wrongs it received while alive. Then, taking their spirits from their dying bodies, Onryu are often depicted as wronged women who are traumatized, envious, disappointed, bitter, or just infuriated by what happened during life, and exact revenge in death. These kinds of ghosts appear extremely vengeful, ruthless, heartless, brutal, cruel, deranged, egotistical, selfish, bloodthirsty, and cold-hearted. And here's the concept art we have of the Onryu, which, as is described in the mythology, very accurate, very terrifying and scary, and not something you would want to run into, ever. Got the blue flames around her head, the hair that goes over her eyes, the overall dead and dark, possibly wet look and feeling to her, which is just absolutely amazing. You have the robe that she's in, which is slightly torn. Just an overall great design by the team once again. And her eyes are pale and blank. I love it. What Ragewood has to say about her? Uh-oh, something vengeful just crept into Godforge. It's an Onryu. And let's just say you're already doomed, fueled by rage, resentment, and an impressively bad hair day. This ghost isn't here to duel. She's here to haunt. Think you can run? Adorable. She moves at horror movie speed, which means no matter how fast you are, she'll still somehow be right behind you. Your best strategy? Apologize for whatever you did. Not that it'll help. Next we have the Shinigami, which are the kami of death. Are kami that invite humans towards death in certain aspects of Japanese religion and culture. Shinigami have been described as monsters, helpers, and creatures of darkness. Shinigami are used for tales and religions in Japanese culture. And here we have the only thing that we've ever seen of the Shinigami so far, which is in-game. Obviously, it's a rare hero. You have the mask on it and the horns, which represents death and, well, yeah, just death because it's a death god. It's got probably the biggest weapon in the game so far, because why not? Got the skulls on its side there. Got the bones along its shoulders. Looks like possibly coming out of its neck. Overall, a great design for a god of death. And it's a rare, so it's not going to be the strongest hero, but it'll have its uses somewhere. What Ragewood has to say about it? The Shinigami has entered Godforge, and he's not here to make friends. He's here to make soul deliveries. With a weapon that's way too big for practical use and a dark sense of humor, he's ready to reap, well, everything. Don't worry though, if you lose, it's not personal. He's just doing his job. And honestly, he's probably bored. So prepare for a dramatic entrance and a very long waiting line in the afterlife. Next up is the Tengu, which are heavenly dogs, are a type of legendary creature found in Shinto belief. They are considered a type of yokai, supernatural beings, or Shinto kami, gods or spirits. The Tengu were originally thought to take the forms of birds of prey and a monkey deity, and they were traditionally depicted with human, monkey, and avian characteristics. Sarutahiko Okami is considered to be the original model of Konoha Tengu, a supernatural creature with a red face and long nose, which today is widely considered the Tengu's defining characteristics in the popular imagination. He is the Shinto monkey deity who is said to shed light on heaven and earth. Some experts theorize that Sarutahiko was a sun god worshipped in the Issei region prior to the popularization of Amaterasu. And in Godforge, this is all we've seen of him, an unanimated T-pose model, basically, of Tengu, Windcaller. He's got the callbacks to, which is in the mythology. He's partially bird, partially animal. It's all comes together to make a very weird-looking character, but also a very accurate character because the Tengu were just weird in general. He's got red skin. He's got a little necklace. The wings are massive. It'll be interesting to see those in game when we do. Overall, I do like it. Watch out, Godforge. Tengu's in town. Half man, half bird, and all attitude. This feathered menace is here to sow discord, armed with a magical staff and a superiority complex that could rival the gods. Tengu's here to show off his martial arts skills, and when he's not busy complaining about how nobody appreciates his flawless flying, he is a master of the air, but on the ground, he trips over his own wings. On to the last rare we have, Tomoe Gozen. Tomoe Gozen was an Onna Musha, a female samurai mentioned in the tale of the Hiki. There is doubt as to whether she existed, as she didn't appear in any primary accounts of the Genpei War. She only appears in the epic, The Tale of Hiki. She served under Samurai Lord Minamoto no Yoshinaka during the Battle of Awazu, part of the Genpei War in the late Heian period, which led to the establishment of the Kamakura Shogunate. In-game, we don't have too much for her. We just have this concept art, I believe, which, like in the mythology, or not really mythology, but in the historical context, she is a female samurai. So she's clad in the samurai armor, and overall, just like the other samurai, she looks very good. She does look somewhat different from the other samurai, probably to differentiate her because she's a female while the other have been males. Anyway, what Ragewood has to say about her: Tomoe Gozen has entered Godforge, and she's ready to show the gods how it's done. One swing of her katana at a time. Legendary warrior, undefeated in battle, and somehow always the calmest person in a room full of chaos. Tomoe is here to claim victory with a smile and a very sharp sword. Can she take down gods? Of course. Can she survive awkward conversations? Not so much. But hey, who needs small talk when you can cut through enemies and your own awkwardness in one swift motion? On to an uncommon hero, the Kunoichi. Kunoichi is a Japanese term for female, Onna. In popular culture, it is often used for female ninja or practitioner of ninjutsu, ninpo. The term was largely popularized by the novelist Futaro Yamada in his novel Ninpo Hakenden in 1964. Although kunoichi have appeared in numerous creative works, including novels, TV dramas, movies, and manga, May University historians have concluded that there are no historical records of female ninja performing reconnaissance and subversive activities in the same manner as their male counterparts. However, in the late 17th century ninja handbook, Bensen Shukai describes a technique called Kunoichi no Jutsu, the ninjutsu of a female, in which a female is used for infiltration and information gathering, which Seiko Fujita considered evidence of female ninja activity. As for Godforge, we have Kunoichi, Shadow Dancer. She is a disruptor, it looks like, which is a classification in the game. So she's not necessarily a damage dealer, she's more of debuffs, I believe, and that kind of thing. I'll have to look into that more. Sorry for not being informed about it. She's also Chaos, which is interesting. But onto her character, she very much looks like a ninja. I believe in her hands are two kunai, but I could be wrong. She's got the general shadowy look of a ninja, sneaking around, stabbing people in the back, that kind of thing. She's got a mask, I believe it's a half Oni mask, and a hood to conceal her. Overall, very good design. She's even got a tattoo on her arm, which is rather interesting. As for what Ragewood has to say about her, introducing Kunoichi, a master of stealth, if stealth means tripping over her own feet and throwing kunai in the wrong direction, with a ninja's speed. When she's running away from danger, Kunoichi's battle strategy involves a lot of dramatic poses, accidental self-implosions with smoke bombs, and for some reason an obsession with throwing tiny rocks. Sure, she's technically a ninja, but her greatest talent? Making everyone else look way more impressive by comparison. The next uncommon we have is the samurai. We're members of the elite warrior class in Japan before the industrial era. In the most common usage of the word, it specifically refers to the warrior retainers of Japan's lords. The samurai and their lords were the de facto rulers of Japan from 1185 to 1869. So overall, they're general warriors. As for Godforge, we have concept art of the samurai, who again is an uncommon hero. It's a reskin of the Ashigaru, so we'll see some similarities with the Ashigaru, which we'll look at next. The samurai's design, he's got a mask on and a helmet. He's got the shoulder plates and the overall general samurai look with the armor. It's very cool. He's got two swords, which were important in historical context. The first one was a katana. The second shorter blade is a tanto, I believe. The katana was the main weapon. They almost never drew their tanto unless it was a last resort, or they were going to commit seppuku, which is... I probably shouldn't say too much about it. You can look it up, seppuku. Anyway, the kit bash shoulder pads, samurai armor. Very cool looking. You can see the base model of Musashi's katana. And then you have the katana of the samurai. So you get to see their overall design of things. It's all very cool looking. It appears he has the sandals on that they typically wore back in the day, which is another good detail. Overall, I really do like the design of the samurai. It's hard to go wrong with the samurai, but you definitely can. Godforge has not done that. They've done amazing. What Ragewood has to say about him? Samurai, a master of the blade and an expert in looking really cool, while doing absolutely nothing. Armed with a katana that's seen more polished than battle, Samurai's strategy is simple. Stand dramatically in one spot and wait for the opponent to get too confused to fight back. If you catch him on a good day, he'll make a move, but only if there's a breeze, a sunset, or the perfect angle for his hair to flow. A true warrior, in theory. And on to the last hero in the game that we know of for this faction, the Izumo, is the Ashigaru. Ashigaru, or light of foot, were peasant infantry employed by the warlords of Japan to supplement the samurai in their armies. The first known reference to Ashigaru were in the 14th century, but it was during the Ashikaga shogunate, Muromachi period, that the use of Ashigaru became prevalent by various warring factions. And in Godforge, we had the Ashigaru common hero, which has a lot of similarities to the samurai, which we just looked at. Overall, it's a great design. You can see the differences between him and the samurai. I do really enjoy this kind of look. They have the same sandals on. They have the same symbol on their chest plate, which I believe is the Izumo faction symbol. Overall, it's a very good design, but very simple and basic, which there's nothing wrong with that. As for what Ragewood has to say about it, introducing the Ashigaru, the foot soldier with a heart as sharp as his katana. Don't let the humble armor fool you. This warrior may be small, but he's got the discipline, speed, and precision to turn the tide of battle faster than you can say Shogun. Overall, good design for all of the Izumo faction. I am very much looking forward to what they're going to be doing with this faction before and when the game releases. And again, I'm going to be covering videos on Godforge as it continues to release and develop. Anyway, that's probably been far long enough for this video. Apologies for how long it has been, but there's a lot to cover with just this one faction. Thank you, Ragewood, and thank you, Raven Pyros Gaming, for everything you have here. These are amazing websites. I'll link them down in the description, and everyone else, have a fantastic day.